Hello, my name is Kim. I am the owner of Blue Dog, and I have Jane here. And we are here to teach you the 3 new skills that we're working on your dog while out on walks. Now, the first skill that we practice is called the name game. And the idea of the name game is we're simply teaching our dogs to respond to their name, which is what we all want, right? So here's the thing with dogs. Dogs don't understand the concept of a name the way us humans do. So I understand that Kim is my name. It's when someone says Kim, I turn around because I know they're talking about me. Now, dogs don't really grasp that concept. However, we can certainly teach them that their name is a cue for their attention. So the idea is I want Jane to understand that if I say Jane, I want her to turn and orient to me, and I'm essentially looking to get her attention so then I can either call her to me or tell her to do something, or maybe I'm just using it to call her away from a potential distraction, whatever it might be. So that's the idea, is we want to be able to say our dog's name and they immediately turn to us. So the way we do that is we simply pair their name with a treat, and we do that over and over and over again. So that eventually what happens is our dog has been classically conditioned to hear their name and then expect a treat. And so as soon as they hear their name, they're gonna turn. So it's kind of like, everyone kind of has a word, like if they say cookie or treat, or maybe even you just go into the refrigerator and pull out like a string cheese or something. Your dog hears that sound and then they immediately come running over, because every time you say cookie, you give your dog a treat, right? So that's what we're looking to do. So the idea of the name game is I'm simply going to say my dog's name and then I'm going to give her a treat. So Jane, 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 and we're going to do that often. Now, the thing is, we're all human, right? Sometimes I might not be in the best mood. I might be a little frustrated. So I'm not always going to say her name like Jane. Certainly not when she's tearing across my backyard after a rabbit. So you're going to practice in different tones. So sometimes I might practice Jane, Jane, right? And then other times maybe I have to be a little bit more discreet. Maybe I'm in the middle of a Zoom call or something, but I still have to get her attention. Jane, Jane. So we're going to practice with different tones, but the idea is we're just saying their name and then they're getting a treat. I like to add movement to this game as well. So if I'm, in the backyard with my dogs, or even if I'm in the kitchen or something, and I'm just looking to do something to play with them, I might do a little cookie toss with this game. So I'll toss a treat, eat it, Jane, and then I'll just toss a treat to the other side, Jane. So, but the idea is Jane, every time she hears her name, a treat follows. So whether I hand it to her or I toss it, lie down. But this is simply, that's a great way to make it more fun. I also enjoy, sometimes I'll call them and I'll say Jane and then toss the treat through my legs. You can have a lot of fun with this. So here's the idea with this game. Now, we're all human, and there's going to be times when we say their name and we don't give them a treat. So there might be a time when I simply don't have treats on me, but I have to get her attention, so I say her name and she doesn't get reinforcement. There's also going to be times, again, because we're only human, where I might be frustrated and be like, Jane, right? And she doesn't get a treat for that. Now, we want to avoid those as often as we can. So in general, we don't want to use our dog's name in vain. So if she's doing something wrong, I'm going to avoid using the word Jane. Instead, I'll just be like, puppy, come on over here, and then I'll redirect her and have her do something else, or whatever it might be. But we want to try to avoid that. Also, I never want to use my dog's name when I'm quite certain, pretty sure that my dog isn't going to respond. Okay, so that scenario where Jane is tearing across the yard after a rabbit, that's not a good time to call her name, because I don't want her to hear her name but then not come to me, but still get reinforced, because chasing that rabbit sure is reinforcing. So we want to avoid situations like that. So if you're certain your dog's not going to turn to you, you're not going to say their name, we're also going to avoid saying their name in vain as much as we can. And then we're going to practice this game. So I want you to think of this game as like a savings account, okay? So every time you play the name game, Jane, I'm investing in my savings account. Jane, and in order for a savings account to work, we need to have more money in the account than what we withdraw, right? So if I happen to, say Jane and I don't have treats on me, that's a withdrawal, okay? But so long as we keep making those deposits, an occasional withdrawal here and there is not a big deal. What we want to avoid is withdrawing more than we deposit, okay? So that's kind of the idea here. We really want to pair their name with reinforcement as frequently as we can. And that's going to kind of help us in those situations when we can't. So your dog walker is going to be playing the name game with your dog. They're going to do this as more than anything a safety measure, right? So if they're worried or the dog is distracted or whatever it might be and they want to get their attention, they can say your dog's name and your dog's going to turn to them. So we're going to do that. Also, it gets their attention. So if they're then going to play another skill, they've got your dog's attention, and so we're going to practice it for that reason too. So that is how we teach the name game.